Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another amazing episode of Faffing with Friends. Today we're going to be talking about something hot off the presses, the new Spider-Man trailer. What do you guys think? Are you excited? Do you want to see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, who are now way older, reprise their role like geriatrics coming back from the grave?
I don't think they're going to be in the film. I'm joking. That's a joke. Obviously, if you don't think that this is going to be a Spider-Verse movie, what is wrong with you? I absolutely love the concept of the multiverse. I've been a fan of it ever since Marvel has started hinting at it. And I'm just very excited it's going to finally pay off with, one of my favorite superheroes of all time in Spider-Man. And obviously we're going to talk about not just the No Way Home trailer, but the character of Spider-Man in general in this episode. So just my initial thoughts are that, I'm fucking hyped. It's lit. Let's go. December can't come soon enough.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no question about the other Spider-Man being in it. You wouldn't bring the villains without, especially a villain we saw Lizard in the trailer. Fucking Lizard. From, let's argue here, one of the worst villains from the actual films. Got very little development. It wasn't really great. The design still sucks. I still think the way he looks is... Oh, I wish they hadn't stuck with that look, because it's the worst Lizard look I can think of. But yeah, no, if you're going to bring fucking Lizard back and get him punched by an invisible arm in the trailer you accidentally released in Brazil, then we can probably agree that at least one other Spider-Man will be in this film, if not both. I think my favorite thing in this entire few months coming up to this film has just been Andrew Garfield promoting every other project he's on and constantly having to just lie. The interviews are gold. Every interview you see Andrew Garfield sit there and just be like, "No, of course I'm not in the film. What are you talking about? Stop it. No one's called me. They haven't talked to me. It's fine." Yeah, we believe you, Andrew. Don't worry.
I love the secrecy attached to the project. If you guys don't know, I was reading recently how our very old good friend Thomas Wake, Willem Dafoe, he apparently walked around on set with a cloak.
With a cloak, yes.
So it's just Tom Holland was like, "Oh shit, the Green Goblin's here!" Great. But yeah, I'm hyped, very hyped.
Yeah, the cloak was actually there to hide his massive dong that everyone knows Willem Dafoe has. He is cursed and blessed with it. Look, yeah, if it's visible in other films, I can't not know about it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, the Goblin's back. He's swinging his massive dong, throwing bombs everywhere, being the Goblin. I love it. I can't wait to see what they do with the villains. I do like that the trailer kind of shows us that Doc Ock isn't being ruined. He's not just flat out a villain again that completely undoes the end of the film he was in that's got a great ending. He seems to actually be, morally somewhere nicer in the middle, maybe, which is great, because... one of my favorite Spider-Man stories in recent decades is the one where Doc Ock takes over Spider-Man in the comics. Takes over his body and just starts doing the job of Spider-Man 10 times better because he's a fucking genius. I love that. Give us good Doc Ock, or at least anti-hero in the middle of Doc Ock. I can live with that. Mm-hmm. Joe, what do you think about the trailer?
I have to say I'm looking very forward to the movie. What I think of the trailer is, boy, am I hyped. If I wasn't hyped enough in August, I'm even more hyped. And yeah, I did see a few of those scenes where, Lizard gets invisipunched, and I'm like, not very inconspicuous of you, Marvel. I see what you're trying to do, but, it's nice of you. But yeah, you're right. With all these interviews going on, with all this anticipation and hype, and everybody speculating that they must be in it. I haven't seen the new Venom movie, but I accidentally read a spoiler for the end credits, which I'm not going to spoil. But all I'm going to say is, if they're going to bring all of these villains together in this upcoming movie, then why would they not also bring the other Spider-Men in?
Also, it's pretty clear they're going for the Sinister Six team again, right?
Exactly.
Another attempt, and there's only 5 in the trailer. So there has to be a 6th something if you want to do the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
That's right. You either bring back Mysterio, or if he's not going to come back because he's quote-unquote dead, then it has to be someone else that's going to be either big, or it's going to be Paul Giamatti's 2 minutes in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
What a throwback.
We all love Rhino. He's our favorite character in that film. Let's all be honest with ourselves here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do like what they're doing. One thing I love is how we talked about Andrew Garfield constantly having to dodge shit in interviews. You then have Tobey Maguire, who hasn't had a role since being the narrator in Boss Baby. Yeah, I know that. That's a fact I know.
I thought he was in Gatsby last.
No, the narrator for Boss Baby. That is Tobey Maguire's final legacy before this Spider-Man, if he's in it, which we all assume yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's hilarious because he hasn't had fucking to dodge anything because he doesn't do any interviews since he doesn't do anything currently. There's no projects. So we have like Andrew on one side just skipping, dodging, ducking, weaving these questions, trying his best not to give things away. And then you've got Tobey Maguire just like, where is Toby? Toby? It's fucking radio silence.
I've got this mental image of Tobey Maguire just doing his dance from Spider-Man 3 as everybody else is fighting the villains. And at the end of the movie, they do that Avengers where they go to the shawarma place, but it's just Tobey Maguire bringing pizza because it's pizza time.
Bully Maguire.
Bully Maguire. It's a miracle that Tom Holland still hasn't given any of the secrets away because he has a reputation for it.
Oh yeah, no, he's so bad. I think it sounds like they've kept stuff from him this time.
I definitely think so. Definitely think so.
Like when I saw, I think what Ivaylo was talking about was like, Tom Holland said, oh yeah, I bumped into Willem Dafoe and it was a surprise to me on set. And I was like, yeah, probably, because they don't want you to go around saying fucking, this is how Endgame ends.
But, you saying that just reminded me that this is their biggest movie since Endgame.
Oh, yeah.
And it probably is going to make a lot of money at the box office. So
I'm betting it's going to be the first film post-pandemic to break $1 billion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm making that bet.
Yeah, definitely the case. And it's very funny because they also seem to be also honoring the legacy of these characters in a good way. Like, the fact that they bring back Doc Ock, who's like one of the most... I think he's from the best Spider-Man film, Spider-Man 2. We all agree that's like the best Maguire film.
Yeah.
And the fact they're bringing him back...
I think it's the best Tobey one, yeah.
The fact they're also doing justice to the incredibly horrible Electro, who was like blue for some reason, and now he finally looks like, yeah,
Do you know how happy it made me to see the little like star appear around his head when like the electricity would pulse and you'd see the little I love that.
Yes.
I love it.
By the way, if they could redo Electro, why can't they redo Lizard?
I really like, it's such a dumb looking design. His face is just wrong, in my opinion.
That's another thing.
It's too human, not enough lizard. You know what I mean?
Before Spider-Man 4 got cancelled with Raimi, the villain he was meant to face in that installment was going to be Lizards. That's why he came back in Amazing Spider-Man. That's why I don't know why he looked so horrible. Yeah. I agree, but again, like, it's all about honoring that legacy, because now you might finally get to see Tobey actually face off with the Lizard he was meant to face in the fourth Sam Raimi film. And if I was them right now, if I was like the director of No Way Home, I would just be like, I'm gonna play all the hits, I'm gonna play some memes, I'm gonna play some super cool fights, I'm gonna just like make sure I want to see Tobey Maguire tell Tom Holland, with great power comes great responsibility. I will pay.
I mean, we haven't gotten that line, have we?
No, we haven't. That's the thing. That's the thing. No one said it. We haven't seen an Uncle Ben in this series. Like, oh man.
The only person, actually, it's funny you say that, because unless they decide to bring out all the Uncle Bens and kill them again, which they can't actually, because one of them has actually passed away, the actor. But the only person close to an Uncle Ben, I mean, it kind of was Tony Stark at the earlier movies. But it's Happy Hogan.
Maybe.
That's the only person, I think.
Yeah.
Not Happy.
He's still in this.
I think I'm one of the only people who dislikes Happy.
I don't mind him.
Aww.
I cannot stand characters that are solely like comedy characters, like comedy relief, and that is what Happy is.
Are you telling me you're not invested in Happy's romance with Marisa Tomei?
Aunt May.
No, you're not.
If anything, it's fucking weird, and I don't like that Aunt May is getting banged on the side while Spider-Man's fighting for his life. That's fucking weird.
But you know what's funny? You mentioned Sam Raimi. I wonder if he knows anything, because he's directing the next Doctor Strange.
He is.
I wonder, if he's asked anybody.
He has to.
Yeah.
There's no way.
And I also think that this movie will serve for a great gateway between further collaboration between the MCU and the Sony universe, because you have Morbius coming out soon.
And I mean, all the acquisitions like that have been made, Fox, there has to be a way for us to like slide into X-Men existing in a world that hasn't established mutants. The multiverse shit is the perfect way to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you can also draw Morbius into Blades. So, Don't
remind me that Morbius is a thing.
Well, yeah, please, Jared Leto is Morbius. Come on, he's coming. It's coming out.
No. I can't wait to get a Jared Leto version of fucking Morbius.
It's coming, bro. It's coming. You don't have to wait much. But yeah, enough about No Way Home. We've talked about the trailer for 10 minutes now, so
yeah, we're excited.
We're very
we'll all go
hyped.
see it. This is something I think we're all looking forward to.
Very much so. And
Okay, I want to move on and talk about the fucking Toby trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've all seen it. It's what we all started on, unless you were like somehow born in the last 4 years or something, which would be weird. But yeah, I think we all think that at least the first 2 Toby films may be the best in the series?
Yeah.
Question mark? Like, including all of the other series, too. I feel like at least Spider-Man 2, most people agree is the best Spider-Man film, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I think, though, that they're very much a product of their time. Like, it's so cartoony and it's so funny. But it's just...
absolutely.
If I'm watching it now... And I've seen all these things of, like, all these huge blockbuster effects, like, you know... and then I just see Goblin throwing a bomb and, like, the people he kills turn into skeletons.
Turn into skeletons,
Like,
dude. I fucking love that scene.
Out am I?
Spooky, scary skeletons appear. It's the best.
It is certainly a treat.
But I think that adds to their charm. I think, like, a lot of the effects in those films really do add to the charm. And I think some effects were so ahead of their fucking time. The entire train sequence in Spider-Man 2, like, it's iconic for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
The level that scene goes, it's the hardest any superhero film went for, like, a decade
And
after as well.
It's very funny you mentioned that because every single Tom Holland movie, well, the 2 Tom Holland movies have both had a similar scene.
A scene that just throws back. Like, look, he's holding a thing together, or he's pushing that. Like, look, guys, we're doing the train scene.
Which, if you think about in the context of the multiverse, he's already done it. So of course he can do it again. Mind blow. I'm kidding. I'm chatting shit. But, you know, it's hype, okay? It's hype.
You know what I'm interested in, right? I'm wondering, will anyone other than the villains and Toby be brought back from that universe? Because we have other version of J. Jonah Jameson now. We have multiple JJs. We have podcaster JJ that is like Alex Jones, and we have JJ that's like the newspaper running one.
A little bit of Easter egg for our listeners. Every time I make the thumbnails for whatever episode we're doing, the JPEGs I always save as whatever the name of the thumbnail is, end with JJJ for James Jonah Jameson, because I always pretend that I'm going to hand it to him, so I always have to do it on time.
Oh my, that's very intimidating. I love it.
Deep lore.
Deep lore.
Deep lore.
And I do one day aspire to be a J. Jonah Jameson. Like, I want to be that editor, that guy who's like, oh man, bring me pictures of Spider-Man. It's
bring me pictures of Spider-Man.
By the way, as if we haven't spoken about J.K. Simmons enough this season.
Is this like the Jared Harris from season 1 or season 2, where we were like, every other episode it was Jared Harris, now it's just like every other episode is J.K. Simmons.
Like, there are men out there that just have their moments in the world spotlight. Right now, J.K. Simmons is our man of the hour. Okay.
Do you know who I want to be brought back? You're a real OG if you...
Oh, tell me.
I want Mr. Ditkovich to be brought back.
Oh, the rent. Get me the rent.
Give me rent.
He's the 6th villain of the Sinister Six.
It's Mr. Ditkovich demanding triple rent from all 3 Spider-Man.
He's back for his rent. Yeah.
You'll get your damn rent when you fix this damn podcast.
Fix this door. Yeah, no, I do. Like, that's the thing. Another thing I'm wondering, right? Do you think we're going to see any of the other love interests be brought back? We know Emma Stone's dead, but multiverse shit undoes that if we wanted to, right?
Exactly.
But do we think Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane, which I'm personally not a fan of at all. I thought that was the part I disliked most about the Raimi films was just how she was written, and she's just she's unbearably whiny and just I can't stand the way they wrote MJ.
Sam Raimi loves screaming women. It's a thing. It's a thing.
That's right. Aunt May, when she gets attacked by Doc Ock, is screaming her head off. But Gwen Stacy.
Oh, here we go.
In my opinion, is the great antithesis to Mary Jane in the Sam Raimi trilogies, because she's such a pure and intelligent and good character. And I know she dies in the comics, Lawrence, but I just want her to live and be happy.
Again, we can have a different version of her than Spider-Gwen.
exactly.
And I want them to cast Emma Stone as that. I've always been like, the best casting in the Andrew Garfield fucking entire like films was Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. That was
for sure.
a 10 out of 10 casting.
Yeah, but they had no chemistry together. Like, they have no chemistry, and it's funny because...
Bro, they literally dated. They literally dated.
Everyone disagrees with you. You're an idiot.
No, they dated in real life, but I don't know, maybe because I felt no chemistry with them two on set. It was so awkward. Like,
maybe it's because you don't know what chemistry looks like, you weirdo.
Oh my god, that's so fucking offensive. I have a girlfriend, thank you. I'm kidding. Anyways.
I want to, like, observe you in your relationships and be like, do they have chemistry, or does Ivaylo just not know what chemistry is?
That is just so mean.
Okay, moving on from the personal shots.
This is why I don't record anymore.
Look, yeah, Emma Stone, come back, be Gwen fucking, Spider-Gwen. I will be happy, please.
Yes,
please
me
give
too.
her her own
I
film.
agree. Yes.
That would be
Oh,
great.
yes. Ooh. Now, even if they brought Haley Steinfeld as Stacy, I wouldn't protest.
I think she's great as the voice actress for the
Yeah, she
Spider-Verse
is.
ones. I don't think she needs to be the IRL one. There is an IRL one. She's been cast. She's a great casting.
Yes, that's true. No, I agree with you. I'm just goofing here, but they could do a Space Jam where they have an animated Gwen as well in the movie.
It's enough. Just enough.
Please, do not mention that heresy in this home. I do not want to hear about Space Jam.
Space Jam.
I actually watched the second one, and it's a fucking horror show. Oh, and they killed Bugs Bunny, if you didn't know.
Oh, boy.
They do that.
Oh, no.
Well, moving on from Looney Tunes.
Yeah, Bugs Bunny is like the ultimate sacrifice at the end. Crazy, isn't it?
Oh, does he do a Tony Stark?
Yeah, he does a Tony Stark, and then he dies. But yeah, no, back to Spooder Man. Who is your favorite villain from all the films that have come before?
Oh, from just the films?
Yeah.
Has to be Doc Ock, really. I really like Doc Ock.
See, I agree that Doc Ock, he has to be up there for me, but I have such a soft spot for Willem Dafoe's goofy-ass fucking goblin.
That's because he's a walking meme.
Even the way he talks, the way he speaks as him, everything he does as him, the way he carries himself, it is the most endearing version of the Goblin ever. I hate Norman Osborn in the comics. I cannot hate Norman Osborn played by Willem Dafoe.
It's really hilarious. Like, he's a walking meme every single second. That's why I mean, like, it hasn't aged in a serious way, but I agree with that.
I don't want it to be serious, though. I love it that way. I love it with him being like, Godspeed, Spider-Man.
I also loved Mysterio in Far From Home. I think he was pretty cool.
Mysterio's great. That's who I was going to bring up. I think from Far From Home, I think the Vulture's great because of who he's played by.
Michael Keaton.
Incredible job.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible job. Another great casting. But I do feel like Mysterio's really fucking well done. They took Mysterio, who is like the goofiest character, in my opinion, in Spider-Man's like villains gallery. Well, the goofiest out of the main ones that get a lot of play, right? There's a lot of C tiers that are just fucking ridiculous, but Mysterio was done so well as a live action adaptation. They somehow made Mysterio work, not be goofy, and actually have like stakes and an emotional impact. It was, I was so impressed.
I had to suspend my disbelief a bit with the drones, but it's a superhero film, so my disbelief is already out the window. But you know what I mean.
Ivaylo, do you remember when the Guardians of the Galaxy fought a planet?
Yeah, I remember that. But still.
But I mean, like, he's not a magic man. He's not like. It's not to the degree that the comics and cartoons would do, where he was just a fucking fishball with like magic powers half the time, and that was just goofy as hell. It would work in like something like Doctor Strange, but as a Spider-Man villain, like Mysterio's really hard to get right, but the film nailed him.
What about you, Joe?
Yeah, what do you think, Joe? Do you like the villains? What's your favorite villain?
I really do like the villains. Of course, my favorite villain, without a doubt, is Paul Giamatti's Rhino. I'm just kidding. I also love Mysterio. I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't see it coming when he double crosses Peter in the movie. And that's what I loved about it, because it's frigging Jake Gyllenhaal, or Gyllenhaal. You love to see him on screen, at least I do.
Oh yeah, he's one of my favorite actors for sure, of our generation.
Oh.
Yeah, when he has that bro vibe, those frat boys from, not frat boys, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend frat boys from UC Berkeley, but UC Berkeley type
frat boys.
The UC Berkeley type of personality. Oh shit, bro, no doubt. Yeah. That kind of personality I love to see in Jake Gyllenhaal. And then, Doc Ock and Green Goblin. Great great.
I
great
think everyone has a soft spot for Sandman, right? From 3, he's the best part of 3.
Yeah, because he's because of the emotional attachment that he has
well
to his daughter.
Acted, he's well done.
Yes.
You feel bad for him by the end. You're like, oh, I'm glad he worked things out. I'm glad that Spider-Man forgave
I
him.
wish he was the main villain. Like, I wish he was like
absolute dude. If that
like...
had been a Sandman film and we hadn't included like that 70s show fucking Venom, then
yes.
It would have been such a better film. Again, we all know the problem with Spider-Man 3 and the Raimi trilogy is the same problem with Amazing Spider-Man 2 in the Garfield one. They overloaded them with villains. And I mean, it's happening with the new one, it seems, but hopefully Marvel after Endgame and shit like that, where there's, so many characters, maybe they've gotten better at it. I hope they have, because the other fucking series were ruined by having an overload of villains and not enough time for any of them to actually be that good.
My favorite scene in Spider-Man 3 is how Eddie Brock becomes Venom with like 30 minutes left of the film, and then the very next scene, he meets Sandman in the most coincidental chance meeting of all time in cinema.
Doesn't he literally just like swing on and grab onto like a nearby light pole?
Yeah, and he just gets smacked by Sandman, and it's like, what the fuck is going on now? You two are together? Why are you together? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's the most like rushed thing I've ever. It's hilarious because it's so literally funny. A hard cut. Like, hi there, Sandman.
Literally,
like, it's just, what's going on?
It's so bad.
How much of this film is like cut out? What happened?
We don't know. We really don't know. But that's the thing, like...
But the balls on Topher Grace going to church and praying to God and being like, God, I've got one thing to ask.
Yeah, I want to kill Spider-Man, please.
And I'm like, whoa.
There's just black goop, like, on his face. Like, ugh, what is this shit?
To be fair, that's a direct relation to the Bully Maguire scene where he goes, you want forgiveness? Get religion. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right. But the irony is that
Can we talk about how amazing... Toby as the cringiest man on earth in the third film.
It's iconic. See, at the time it was seen as bad, but I think it was ahead of its time. I think with the meme culture we have right now, it's a gold mine. It's an absolute gold mine.
Yeah, him cheating on Mary Jane with other Gwen Stacy, Bryce Dallas Howard, is so funny.
Now dig on this.
Don't remind, the dialogue's worse than the visuals somehow. Like, the visuals make me laugh, but then he says things and you're just like, oh. Like, somehow the symbiote was way worse and cringier then than he is in the current Venom.
It's just... Oh. I really hope, I never like wishful thinking from yours truly. I hope that end credits of No Way Home is the Bully Maguire song, the James Brown song. Come on. I can't sing because of copyright, but you know. Literally.
The end credits is just Tobey Maguire dancing down the street.
Could you imagine? It's just a 10 minutes credits of him breaking it down.
You would love to see it. I told you, play the greatest hits.
Do you know what I want to see? I would die if they have the two J. Jonah Jamesons meet.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Could you imagine? Please. Like, one goes, that fucking menace, Spider-Man. And the other one goes, wait, you hate him too.
Yes.
Like, I would honestly, that would be my favorite fan service scene. If that happens, I will cry, because J. Jonah Jameson meeting like Alex Jones Jameson is like a dream.
Do we have, I mean, we've talked about just the movies, like, does anyone have any other inspirations for Spider-Man or any other experiences of the character?
Oh yes, well, the first PlayStation game, I loved it because first of all it was narrated by Stan Lee, and it was the first time I ever encountered Venom before the third movie of Raimi came out. Never really read the comics when I was young.
Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about the one made after the Raimi film?
It might have been. It starts off with you trying to break up a kidnapping or a heist or something. It's foggy in my brain. But this is years ago, and
you might be talking about the PS1 game, which I think everyone...
Yeah, the PS1 game.
Does. Everyone loves that one. It's great.
Yeah.
And you've got, like, Carnage at the end melds with Doc Ock, and it's some really wacky shit. Right. Yeah, I remember that.
My first exposure with Spider-Man was actually before the Sam Raimi films. It was on... It was the 1994 animated Spider-Man film where Peter Parker looks like an absolute unit. And that series had all the villains. It's literally like, I learned everything I know about Spider-Man from
Are we
that
talking
universe.
about the Fox Kids one?
Yeah, the Fox Kids one. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That was my first Spider-Man thing too. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's built like a fucking monster, bro.
I had it on VHS, like it was that old. I had it on VHS, and it covered everything. It covered Kingpin and Daredevil. It covered Venom and Carnage. It covered Captain America, and there was a version of like the 1945 Avengers. And Captain.
Yeah, they did the black suit arc really well.
Yeah, there was the black suit arc. It was Sinister Six.
Venom was so cool. Do you remember how Venom was like almost two colors, like from one lighting he'd be blue and then he'd be red?
Yeah, it was so fucking good. And to me, and you're gonna like absolutely go off on me. That to me is the canon Venom, and why I dislike the Venom film so much. And for those of you that don't know,
Ivaylo, the ultimate Venom, needs to have Eminem singing his theme song. How can you not understand
Venom?
Adrenaline Venom.
Hit us up in the comments if you want us to do a Venom episode where me and Lawrence just go on a
I love Venom so much.
Please
guys.
stop
I'm
talking!
someone who loves these films. They're so good.
Even I'm down for a Venom episode. Let's do it.
They're so good. But yeah, no, the first thing I saw of Spider-Man was that series, but the first comic book, like, I actually read because someone recommended that I should. It was Kraven's Last Hunt. And that, to this day, remains my favorite Spider-Man comic ever.
I haven't actually read it. I've read...
It is so incredibly mature and, like, by the end, so nihilistic. It's crazy that it got into a, like, comic that was clearly still meant to be read by children.
My favorite is Spider-Man Reign, where he kills MJ with radioactive cum.
Hell yeah. I love that. It's so good.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
It's one of my favorite pieces of trivia. Like, one version of Spider-Man kills MJ with his cancer cum. Nice.
He's so radioactive. He just kills everyone around him.
That's a great read for No Nut November. The Midas touch of masturbation.
My fucking god.
Stop blaspheming, I'm gonna cut it out.
Yeah, no, my favorite modern comic is Superior Spider-Man. Superior Spider-Man is so good. The one where Doc Ock takes over Spider-Man's body. I'd recommend everyone read that because it's such a novel take on like Spider-Man and that the universe and the character. And it's so cool seeing someone else be like, watch me do this so much better than you.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fun.
It's a great story. It's a great story. We all love Spider-Man here. We're all hyped for the film. Like, let's not kid ourselves. We're all going to watch it.
Can't wait.
I really hope that this will be as big as Endgame, if not bigger. And because between us and, like, anyone who's listening, the new Phase 4 kind of sucks. Like, we've only had one proper good fun film, and that was Shang-Chi.
Yeah, no, Shang-Chi. That was the best.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Eternals yet, and for our good friend, you know who you are, who absolutely loves to defend Eternals. More power to you, but, you know, I haven't seen it yet.
You mean you haven't seen Invincible but bad?
Invincible.
Yeah, no, so someone, for those of you out of the loop, described Eternals, which I haven't seen yet, to me as invincible but bad, which led to me immediately guessing the twist, which is hilarious.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know. Black Widow was also meh.
Yeah, Black Widow's massive disappointment.
And we're never gonna see ScarJo again because she sued Disney.
Yep.
So
it's so shit that was her her swan song. Like, bye bye, this is your last film.
And yeah, we're all hoping for No Way Home to be a massive success, and I can't wait to see the 3 Spider-Men on the big screen in the theater losing their shit around me like they did when Captain America pulled
Another thing I think that this film opens up, and it's very exciting, is we could have multiple Spider-Mans at once, the way we do with like Spider-Verse things. Like if for example Tom Holland has said that he doesn't plan to play Spider-Man forever, they could end one Spider-Man story and do a different one from a different multiverse.
Of course they can.
It's really interesting because you can do more. You can have more fun with casting. You can do more like stories that wouldn't fit with the current MCU, where you introduce characters that just wouldn't work anymore because you didn't introduce them when you should have in the current MCU.
They should definitely do a What If episode, because I'm actually surprised that there was no Spider-Man episode for What If. I mean, I'm assuming they did that deliberately because they wanted to avoid any spoilers for the upcoming movie.
Yeah.
But if they don't end up doing that, then they should definitely do something for it, because the second season has been greenlit. And What If is actually great, guys. Go watch it.
I have watched it now. I don't agree. I think it's good for a bit, and then it gets really bad.
Controversial opinion.
I mean, yeah, but still, for that little bit, it's still worth watching.
Also, they fucked up the Marvel Zombies, and that makes me angry. I hate it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Marvel Zombies, Peter eats MJ and Aunt May. Go read it, it's great.
Oh yeah, I love a Spider-Man story. But yeah,
hope you guys enjoyed this episode and the brief breakdown of the trailer at the beginning. We did this specifically for this, and hopefully once the movie is out, we can do another episode where we'll talk about what we thought of the movie.
Yeah, no, we're probably going to cover the film once we've all seen it and have, gestated a bit and have opinions.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. I'm absolutely down for it.
I just wanted to add that I want to give some praise to Avi Arad, Amy Pascal, and Kevin Feige for just what they've done with not only the Spider-Man universe, but with the MCU universe. And they've done amazingly well. If it hadn't been for them, we wouldn't be here right now talking about this franchise, or even possibly the Marvel comics or characters to this extent.
Yeah.
So I'm going to quickly mention, guys, that we are still on Patreon, so please do go support us. And what we've done now is that the first perk is free. You can just join us for free, or it's going to be like 1 penny or whatever it is that we can get it so that Patreon allows us. And what's going to happen is you're going to be able to join our Discord. But then for all the other perks, you're going to have to support us. If you want us to stick around, you got to support us, bro. If you enjoy the show, I mean, we can tell that you enjoyed the show because our SoundCloud numbers are pretty high. YouTube has sort of slumped a bit, but SoundCloud's pretty strong.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us, guys. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next time.
Don't forget to subscribe, Bye. Ring the bell, all the good stuff. Tell your cousin Randy. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.